A single rose can be my garden, a single friend, my world. Your talent is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift back to God. Only the weak are cruel. Gentleness can only be expected from the strong. Love is life. And if you miss love, you miss life. Love is always open arms. If you close your arms about love, you will find that you are left holding only yourself. I have a very strong feeling that the opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. It's not giving a damn. Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. What we call the secret of happiness is no more a secret than our willingness to choose life. Change is the end result of all true learning. If we wish to free ourselves from enslavement, we must choose freedom and the responsibility this entails. We are no longer puppets being manipulated by outside powerful forces, we become the powerful force ourselves. The best students come from homes where education is revered, where there are books, and children see their parents reading them. What love we've given, we'll have forever. What love we fail to give, will be lost for all eternity. I still get wildly enthusiastic about little things. I play with leaves. I skip down the street and run against the wind. If I don't have wisdom, I can teach you only ignorance. Don't brood. Get on with living and loving. You don't have forever. The easiest thing to be in the world is you. The most difficult thing to be is what other people want you to be. Don't let them put you in that position. Love is always bestowed as a gift, freely, willingly, and without expectation. We don't love to be loved, we love to love. Death is a challenge. It tells us not to waste time. It tells us to tell each other right now that we love each other. I believe that you control your destiny, that you can be what you want to be. You can also stop and say, no, I won't do it, I won't behave his way anymore. I'm lonely and I need people around me, maybe I have to change my methods of behaving, and then you do it. Life lived for tomorrow will always be just a day away from being realized. Love always creates, it never destroys. In this lies man's only promise. The fact that I can plant a seed and it becomes a flower, share a bit of knowledge and it becomes another's, smile at someone and receive a smile in return, are to me continual spiritual exercises. Never idealize others. They will never live up to your expectations. The purpose of life is to help others, and if you can't help them, won't you at least not hurt them? I know that is a platitude, that is sentimental and can easily be attacked. But loving, caring is simple, and we make it complex. Our own neuroses make it complex. It is paradoxical that many educators and parents still differentiate between a time for learning and a time for play without seeing the vital connection between them. If you're an advocate of gentleness, you're simplistic and naive. If you're an advocate of despair and hate, you're sophisticated. The minute we stop learning, we begin death, the process of dying. We learn from each other with every action we perform. We are teaching goodness or evil every time we step out of the house and into the street. Worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow, it only saps today of its joy. I've always thought that people need to feel good about themselves, and I see my role as offering support to them, to provide some light along the way. Hugs make you feel psychologically more secure and together. Don't smother each other. No one can grow in the shade. The way to anybody's heart is through a thoughtfully prepared, beautifully executed, lovingly presented meal. I've spoken in every state in the Union, meeting and hugging the people who later bought my books. I spoke to anybody who wanted to hear me, including 1,000 nuns who could pay me only with homemade bread. All of my youth growing up in my Italian family was focused around the table. That's where I learned about love. I have been a teacher myself all my life. I have an intense passion to share with people. Our only salvation is in knowledge, in learning. Biologically and physiologically, we are not equal. Some of us learn better at different times of day. Some learn best visually, some auditorially, some tactily, by touching. My mother made soft polenta often, and as a child, I would watch her stir until she looked like her arm would fall off. I was lucky to have such a loving, crazy family. I learned to give and share. Food is celebratory. People who don't cook don't know how much fun they're missing. I am a teacher. And I think I am a serious one who happens to be enjoying life. I've learned that you learn best by modeling. If you want people to learn, do it. I have too much respect for people to try to control them. But they are estranged from love, afraid to reach out and touch one another. We're afraid to appear sentimental or speak in platitudes because people will say, "What a jerk." It takes courage in our culture to be a lover. We want to gently remind people that we don't have forever. In my work, I hear parents complain all the time that their children grow up so fast. But they don't take the time to sit down and talk to each other. The last bastion of getting together is around the table. You can be a follower of Muhammad or Jesus or Buddha or whomever. Always, they said that the most essential factor is to love your neighbor. And to love you. When we sit at the table, there is more going on than satisfying hunger. It is sad to think of those who eat simply to satisfy their hunger and who do not permit themselves to linger under the many spells offered by a good meal, the satisfaction of our hearts, our minds, and our spirits. Love yourself, accept yourself, forgive yourself, and be good to yourself, because without you the rest of us are without a source of many wonderful things. Love can never grow old. Locks may lose their brown and gold. Cheeks may fade and hollow grow. But the hearts that love will know, never winter's frost and chill, summer's warmth is in them still. Most of us are pawns in a game of love we don't understand. Perfect love is rare indeed, for to be a lover will require that you continually have the subtlety of the very wise, the flexibility of the child, the sensitivity of the artist, the understanding of the philosopher, the acceptance of the saint, the tolerance of the scholar, and the fortitude of the certain. Don't smother each other. No one can grow in shade. I've always thought that people need to feel good about themselves, and I see my role as offering support to them, to provide some light along the way. The most human thing we have to do in life is to learn to speak our honest convictions and feelings and live with the consequences. This is the first requirement of love, and it makes us vulnerable to other people who may ridicule us. But our vulnerability is the only thing we can give to other people. No amount of time can erase the memory of a good cat, and no amount of masking tape can ever totally remove his fur from your couch. The hardest battle you're ever going to fight is the battle to be just you. I love to think that the day you're born, you're given the world as a birthday present. We need others. We need others to love, and we need to be loved by them. Value yourself. The only people who appreciate a doormat are people with dirty shoes. Love requires that we overcome the traditional and self-defeating fears that place distance between ourselves and others. The opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. A growing relationship can only be nurtured by genuineness. Life is our greatest possession and love its greatest affirmation. What love we've given, we'll have forever. If you don't like the scene you're in, if you're unhappy, if you're lonely, if you don't feel that things are happening, change your scene. Paint a new backdrop. Catch the beauty of the moment. We have to get children to understand that not only do they have this incredible uniqueness, but they also have something that sometimes we forget about. They are also potentiality. They are much more undiscovered than they are discovered. And there's the wonder of it. It doesn't matter where they are, they're only just beginning, and the big magical trip of life is digging it all out and discovering the wonderful you. We treat our encounters with them with carefree casualness. We are certain that our relationships will naturally take care of themselves. To this day I cannot see a bright daffodil, a proud gladiola, or a smooth eggplant without thinking of Papa. Like his plants and trees, I grew up as a part of his garden. I am often accused of being childish. I prefer to interpret that as childlike. I still get wildly enthusiastic about little things. I tend to exaggerate and fantasize and embellish. I still listen to instinctual urges. I play with leaves. I skip down the street and run against the wind. I never water my garden without soaking myself. It has been after such times of joy that I have achieved my greatest creativity and produced my best work. There is a good deal of excellent research on child's play. It has shown conclusively that through play, with the freedom of action it allows and the stressless environment in which it occurs, children discover, relate to and define themselves and their world. It is, therefore, paradoxical that many educators and parents still differentiate between a time for learning and a time for play. Based on a string of bad breakups, I was forced to examine my choice of partners. Surely, that must have abolished me from any wrongdoing. To place your ideas and your dreams before the crowd is to risk being called naive. Don't overanalyze your relationships. If one wishes to be a lover, he must start by saying yes to love. Celebrate your humanness, celebrate your craziness, celebrate your inadequacies, celebrate your loneliness, but celebrate you. He who remains calm while those around him panic probably doesn't know what's going on. A loving relationship is a wanting to celebrate, communicate, and know another's heart and soul. Love is spontaneous and craves expression through joy, through beauty, through truth, even through tears. Love lives the moment, it's neither lost in yesteryear nor does it crave for tomorrow. Love is now. We all fear what we don't know, it's natural. Don't look over people's shoulders. Look in their eyes. Don't talk at your children. Take their faces in your hands and talk to them. Don't make love to a body, make love to a person. The only thing of value we can give kids is what we are, not what we have. I just saw an ad the other day that I couldn't believe. There was this woman, and I think it's degrading to womankind. She was going out of her mind over a new product called 1,000 Flushes. Here she was in her toilet, saying, "Oh, I love this product. And, my life is complete." Good God, if your joy depends on 1,000 flushes, you're sick. Things omitted are often more deadly than errors committed. Man seldom questions the fact that ugliness and evil are to be found in the world. But he's never as ready to accept that life also offers unlimited beauty and potential for joy as well as endless opportunities for pleasure. To that there is an answer. After all, the wrong is done. It is past and cannot be changed. We have only the present and the future upon which to move forward. We are so ruled by what people tell us we must be that we have forgotten who we are. One cannot give what he does not possess. To give love you must possess love. To love others you must love yourself. To love is to risk not being loved in return. I was one of those fortunate individuals who grew up in a large, passionate, demonstrative Italian family where we were taught to love as naturally as we breathed and ate giant bowls of pasta. Education should be the process of helping everyone to discover his uniqueness. Leo Buscaglia, 1924–1998. Assume that people are good until you actually and specifically learn differently. And even then, know that they have potential for change and that you can help them out. Say yes to life. Yes to wonder, to joy, to despair. Yes to pain, yes to what you don't understand. Try yes. Try always. Try possible. Try hopeful. Try I will. And try I can. Labels are distancing phenomena. They push us away from each other. We are born for love, but it will die if not nurtured. The human need to play is a powerful one. When we ignore it, we feel there is something missing in our lives. If one wishes to know love, one must live love, in action. Thoughts, readings and discourse on love are of value only as they present questions to be acted upon. When it comes to giving love, the opportunities are unlimited, and we are all gifted. You are the only you. You are the best you. You will always be the second best anyone else. To laugh is to risk appearing a fool, to weep is to risk appearing too sentimental, to reach out for another is to risk involvement, and to expose feelings is to risk exposing one's true self. When we feel joyful, euphoric, happy, we are more open to life, more capable of seeing things clearly and handling daily tensions. You can't imagine the joy I feel when I hear that something I've said or done or written has helped others to regain their sense of dignity, to motivate them to develop their unique potential, to encourage them to reach out to others in love. It's not enough to have lived. We should be determined to live for something. In the end you have only you. If you make mistakes, if you act like a human being, I will love you no matter. Love deeply and passionately. You might get hurt, but it is the only way to live life completely. Learn to bend. It's better than breaking. A life without passion is not living, it's merely existing. There is only the moment. The now. Only what you are experiencing at this second is real. Experience seems to convince us that only fools trust, that only fools believe and accept all things. If this is true, then love is most foolish. For if it is not founded on trust, belief and acceptance, it's not love. Loving means sharing joy with people. There is nothing quite so satisfying, and so healing, as a good cry. Every day we are offered new means for learning and growing in love. God made mud, God made dirt, God made boys so girls could flirt. Happiness is intrinsic, it's an internal thing. When you build it into yourself, no external circumstances can take it away. Love is not some complex, mystical abstraction. It is something accessible and human that we learn through our everyday experience, as often at times of failure as in moments of ecstasy. There is nothing wrong with making mistakes and not having all the answers, so long as we are willing to admit this and strive for personal betterment. Those who think they know it all have no way of finding out that they don't. To love oneself is to struggle to rediscover and maintain your uniqueness. We don't love to be loved in return, we love to love. To live in love is to live in life, and to live in life is to live in love. Knowing that one is always capable of change, the second step lies in making the decision to change. Change does not occur by merely willing it any more than behavior changes simply through insight. He must also know evil, hate and bigotry as real phenomena, but he must see love as the greater force. He must not doubt this even for a moment or he is lost. His only salvation is to dedicate himself to love, in the same fashion as Gandhi did to militant nonviolence, as Socrates to truth, as Jesus did to love and as More did to integrity. Only then will he have the strength to combat the forces of doubt, confusion and contradiction. He can depend upon no one or no thing for reinforcement and assurance but himself. Man is happiest when he is creating. In fact, the highest state of which man is capable lies in the creative act. We will only begin to forgive when we can look upon the wrongdoers as ourselves, neither better nor worse. We need to remember that we coexist as mortals in the world, together, the wronged and the wrongdoer, and that, in our common humanity, the situation could readily be reversed. Because you are human, you do have magic. Get in touch with it. When you feel the insanity rising, don't push it down. Let it come out. Just once and then let me know what happens. A wife says to her husband, or vice versa, "Do you love me?" "Of course," he replies. "I've been married to you for 20 years, haven't I?" How satisfied would we be if we presented someone with a vintage wine and, upon asking his opinion of it, he replied, "I'm drinking it, aren't I?" Love still needs expression between those who share it. Love revels in and grows in the moment and the joy of the moment. Your talent is God's gift to you. Child development, most damaging course of action is attempting to keep children from experience or protect them from pain, for it is this time that children learn that life is a magic thing, if not a rose garden. The parent's role is primarily to stand by with a good supply of Band-Aids. To be is to do, says the existentialist. One only becomes real, human, at the point of action. The only people who become wealthy by being concerned with the future are insurance companies. In love, each man is his own personal challenge. Too often we underestimate the power of a touch. Strong emotions are present in all people. Without feeling, we would not be human. It's unnatural for man to hide what he's feeling, though if taught to do so, he can learn. Love teaches a man to show what he is feeling. Love never presupposes that it can be discerned or felt without expression. In a crazy world, it's only your insanity that will keep you sane. We created time, and now we have become the slave of time. Tact is rubbing out another's mistake instead of rubbing it in. This loving person is a person who abhors waste of time, waste of human potential. How much time we waste. As if we were going to live forever. People are not here to meet your expectations. As long as you are free to select and choose alternatives, provided that you are willing to accept the responsibility for being free. And after you've tried your alternatives, and they don't work as you would wish, don't blame me. Blame your choice. Try another alternative. The greatest risk is to risk nothing at all. Each of our acts makes a statement as to our purpose. Love and the self are one, and the discovery of either is the realization of both. To love others you must love yourself. You can only give to others what you have yourself. The most unfortunate thing that happens to a person who fears failure is that he limits himself by becoming afraid to try anything new. Success often lies just the other side of failure. Our talents are the gift that God gives to us. What we make of our talents is our gift back to God. A life lived in love will never be dull. There are many miracles in the world to be celebrated and, for me, garlic is the most deserving. When we cling to pain, we end up punishing ourselves. My rule is always, people first and things second. You have the choice. You can choose joy over despair, happiness over tears, action over apathy, growth over stagnation. Ancient Egyptians believed that upon death they would be asked 2 questions and their answers would determine whether they could continue their journey in the afterlife. The first question was, did you bring joy? The second was, did you find joy? Time has no meaning in itself unless we choose to give it significance. We all need each other. Everybody is teaching everybody to love at every moment. Like any other living, growing thing, love requires effort to keep it healthy. Love can never grow old. Looks may lose their brown and gold. Cheeks may fade and hollow grow. But the hearts that love will know, never winter's frost and chill, summer's warmth is in them still. Love withers with predictability, its very essence is surprise and amazement. To make love a prisoner of the mundane is to take its passion and lose it forever. If one wishes to know love, one must live love, in action. Love is a dynamic interaction, lived every second of our lives, all of our lives. The life and love we create is the life and love we live. Let go. Why do you cling to pain? There is nothing you can do about the wrongs of yesterday. It is not yours to judge. Why hold on to the very thing which keeps you from hope and love? To love others you must first love yourself. Fantastic things happen, to the way we feel, to the way we make other people feel. All this simply by using positive words. Love is always open arms. What do years have to do with age? I'd like to be remembered for being a good, kind, loving, gentle man who attempted to live wisely, and who cared a lot. In order to learn, you have to be free. You have to be free to experiment, free to try, free to make mistakes. The opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. It's not giving a damn. If somebody hates me, they must feel something, or they couldn't possibly hate. Therefore, there's some way in which I can get to them. The most important thing in the world is that you make yourself a loving person, because this is what you will be giving away. It is when we ask for love less and begin giving it more that the basis of human love is revealed to us. Those who think they know it all have no way of finding out they don't. You can only give away what you have. If you have love, you can give it. If you don't have it, you don't have it to give. If you want to learn to love, then you must start the process of finding out what it is, what qualities make up a loving person and how these are developed. Each person has the potential for love. But potential is never realized without work. Forgive others, forgive yourself for not being perfect, and accept responsibility for your own life. We all need to be recognized for what we're doing, for our work. Every once in a while we need someone to come up to us and say, "You're beautiful. That was well done. That's nice." Man has no choice but to love. For when he does not, he finds his alternatives lie in loneliness, destruction and despair. Every moment spent in unhappiness is a moment of happiness lost. I get so sick and tired of hearing people gripe about what their parents did to them. You know what your parents did to you? The best thing they could do. The best thing they knew how, the only thing in many cases that they knew how. Nobody has set out maliciously to hurt their child, unless they were psychotic. When we give ourselves in love we become our most vulnerable. We are never safe. We become open to disappointment and hurt. We are not evil, inadequate or incompetent when our relationships fail. Love is trusting, accepting, and believing, without guarantee. Love is patient and waits, but it's an active waiting, not a passive one. For it is continually offering itself in a mutual revealing, a mutual sharing. Love is spontaneous and craves expression through joy, through beauty, through truth, even through tears. Listening is love in action. The lover must often say, "I love because I must, because I will it. I love for myself, not for others. I love for the joy it gives me, and incidentally, only, for that joy it gives to others. If they reinforce me it will be good. If they do not, it also will be good, for I will to love." There is seemingly so little love shared in this world, it is not surprising that we ask, where have all the lovers gone? Since love is the most vital energy for good that is within our power to utilize, it is puzzling why we so seldom do so. Love is just a useless, abstract idea until we put it into action, unless we are always actively living in love, we are not utilizing the greatest gift we have been given and which we, in turn, have to offer. One must never be satisfied with his ability to love. No matter where he is, it is always just a beginning. What we need to know about loving is no great mystery. We all know what constitutes loving behavior, we need but act upon it, not continually question it. Overanalysis often confuses the issue and in the end brings us no closer to insight. We sometimes become too busy classifying, separating, and examining, to remember that love is easy. It's we who make it complicated. If he desired to know about automobiles, he would, without question, study diligently about automobiles. If his wife desired to be a gourmet cook, she'd certainly study the art of cooking, perhaps even attending a cooking class. Yet, it never seems as obvious to him that if he wants to live in love, he must spend at least as much time as the auto mechanic or the gourmet in studying love. Definition of a relationship: an enduring, mutually agreed upon connection or union, which fulfills certain needs of the individuals involved and the society in which they live. He must understand that if he is the world's finest plum and someone he loves does not like plums, he has the choice of becoming a banana. But he must be warned that if he chooses to become a banana, he will be a second-rate banana. But he can always be the best plum. I think we need to teach children the importance of others, and that they cannot grow in this world without taking in others. The more worlds they take in, these unique worlds, the more they can become. We need to teach them to trust others again, because we're all frightened to death of each other. We're building higher and higher walls, stronger and stronger locks. Tear down the walls. Every day I see how we're distrusting and it hurts. Why do we protect children from life? It's no wonder that we become afraid to live. We're not told what life really is. We're not told that life is joy and wonder and magic and even rapture, if you can get involved enough. We're not told that life is also pain, misery, despair, unhappiness, and tears. I don't know about you, but I don't want to miss any of it. I want to embrace life, and I want to find out what it's all about. I wouldn't want to go through life without knowing what it is to cry. Each man lives love in his limited fashion and does not seem to relate the resultant confusion and loneliness to his lack of knowledge about love. Don't walk in my head with your dirty feet. Love creates in us without destroying the me. We need others. We need others to love and we need to be loved by them. There is no doubt that without it, we too, like the infant left alone, would cease to grow, cease to develop, choose madness and even death. Only when we give joyfully, without hesitation or thought of gain, can we truly know what love means. Happiness and love are just a choice away. Love is always changing and, unless we stay aware and change with it, it eludes us. We need to learn to let go as easily as we grasp and we will find our hands full and our minds empty. Joy is always an integral part of loving. There is joy in every act of life, no matter how menial or repetitive. To work in love is to work in joy. To live in love is to live in joy. Why not choose joy? Why not live in joy? One does not fall in or out of love. One grows in love. No one gets out of this world alive, so the time to live, learn, care, share, celebrate, and love is now. To live in love is life's greatest challenge. It requires more subtlety, flexibility, sensitivity, understanding, acceptance, tolerance, knowledge and strength than any other human endeavor. You have choice. You can select joy over despair. You can select happiness over tears. You can select action over apathy. You can select growth over stagnation. You can select you. And you can select life. And it's time that people tell you you're not at the mercy of forces greater than yourself. You are, indeed, the greatest force for you. Love is not a thing, it is not lost when given. You can offer your love completely to hundreds of people and still retain the same love you had originally. A total immersion in life offers the best classroom for learning to love. Loving yourself involves the discovery of the true wonder of you, not only the present you, but the many possibilities of you. It involves the continual realization that you are unique, like no other person in the world, that life is, or should be, the discovery, the development and the sharing of this uniqueness. I exist, I am here, I am becoming, I make my own life and no one else makes it for me. I must face my own shortcomings, mistakes, transgressions. No one can suffer my non-being as I do, but tomorrow is another day, and I must decide to leave my bed and live again. And if I fail, I don't have the comfort of blaming you or life or God. A life without love, no matter how many other things we have, is an empty, meaningless one. 90% of what we worry about never happens, yet we worry and worry. What a horrible way to go through life. What a horrible thing to do to your colon. It's amazing, you may not realize it, but so much of what you are not is because you are literally standing in your own way of becoming. And what I'm pleading with you about is, get the hell out of your own way. When you love someone you do not love them all the time, in exactly the same way, from moment to moment. It is an impossibility. It is even a lie to pretend to. And yet this is exactly what most of us demand. We have so little faith in the ebb and flow of life, of love, of relationships. We leap at the flow of the tide and resist in terror its ebb. We are afraid it will never return. We insist on permanency, on duration, on continuity, when the only continuity possible, in life as in love, is in growth, in fluidity, in freedom. It is the forgiver who is freed in forgiving. Compassion is an act of tolerance where kindness and forgiveness reign. When we make the compassionate choice, we enhance the dignity of each individual, which is the very essence of loving them. We seem to gain wisdom more readily through our failures than through our successes. We always think of failure as the antithesis of success, but it isn't. Success often lies just the other side of failure. I would not want to form a partnership with an architect who has only a little knowledge of building or a broker who has a limited knowledge of the stock market. Still, we form what we hope to be permanent relationships in love with people who have hardly any knowledge of what love is. Change. It has the power to uplift, to heal, to stimulate, surprise, open new doors, bring fresh experience and create excitement in life. Certainly it is worth the risk. There are scores of people waiting for someone just like us to come along, people who will appreciate our compassion, our encouragement, who will need our unique talents. Someone who will live a happier life merely because we took the time to share what we had to give. We are not for everyone and everyone is not for us. The question is, if we cannot be with another, can we at least not hurt them? Can we, at least, find a way to coexist? There are all kinds of symbols. Verbal language is only one. Sometimes by opening our mouths, we make dreadful errors. It's often so much nicer just to look at somebody and vibrate. The most painful thing to experience is not defeat but regret. The essence of education is not to stuff you with facts but to help you discover your uniqueness, to teach you how to develop it, and then to show you how to give it away. 9 times out of 10, when you extend your arms to someone, they will step in, because basically they need precisely what you need. Life is meant to be a celebration. It shouldn't be necessary to set aside special times to remind us of this fact. Wise is the person who finds a reason to make every day a special one. There are 2 big forces at work, external and internal. We have very little control over external forces such as tornadoes, earthquakes, floods, disasters, illness and pain. What really matters is the internal force. How do I respond to those disasters? Over that I have complete control. Education should be the process of helping everyone to discover his uniqueness, to teach him how to develop that uniqueness, and then to show him how to share it because that's the only reason for having anything. But man has other needs as well, emotional needs. These, too, are few, but every bit as important as his physical requirements, yet not so simple. If they aren't met, they can be as devastating as physical hunger, as uncomfortable as a lack of shelter, as incapacitating as thirst. The frustration, isolation, and anxiety brought about by unmet emotional needs can, like physical privation, produce death, or a degree of living death, neurosis and psychosis. Life is uncharted territory. It reveals its story one moment at a time. Live nutty. Just occasionally. Just once in a while. And see what happens. It brightens up the day. Choose the way of life. Choose the way of love. Choose the way of caring. Choose the way of goodness. It's up to you. It's your choice. Everybody needs a hug. It changes your metabolism. Never idealize others. They will never live up to your expectations. Don't overanalyze your relationships. Stop playing games. A growing relationship can only be nurtured by genuineness. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, is nothing, and becomes nothing. He may avoid suffering and sorrow, but he simply cannot learn, feel, change, grow or love. Chained by his certitude, he is a slave, he has forfeited his freedom. Only the person who risks is truly free. It's not enough to have lived. We should be determined to live for something. May I suggest that it be creating joy for others, sharing what we have for the betterment of personkind, bringing hope to the lost and love to the lonely. It doesn't matter who you have hurt, if you've learned not to hurt again. It doesn't matter what mistakes you've made as long as you don't make them again. As long as you learn, as long as you're willing to take your life in your hands, and kiss it and go from there. Then there is growth. There is life. To the extent to which you know yourself, and we are all more alike than different, you can know others. When you love yourself, you will love others. And to the depth and extent to which you can love yourself, only to that depth and extent will you be able to love others. Each of us is responsible for creating an environment of warmth and consideration for those we love. I have always tried to define a good day not in terms of one in which all things were made right and comfortable for me, but rather, as a day in which I have been able to make another's day more loving and special for them. We must treat each other with dignity. Not because we merit it, but because we grow best in thoughtfulness. The heart is the place where we live our passions. It is frail and easily broken, but wonderfully resilient. There is no point in trying to deceive the heart. It depends upon our honesty for its survival. Why do some people always see beautiful skies and grass and lovely flowers and incredible human beings, while others are hard-pressed to find anything or any place that is beautiful? The only lasting trauma is the one we suffer without positive change. Most of us remain strangers to ourselves, hiding who we are, and ask other strangers, hiding who they are, to love us. A life of love is one of continual growth, where the doors and windows of experience are always open to the wonder and magic that life offers. To love is to risk living fully. Life is a paradise for those who love many things with a passion. The hardest battle you are ever going to have to fight is the battle to be just you. A wonderful realization will be the day you realize that you are unique in all the world. There is nothing that is an accident. You are a special combination for a purpose, and don't let them tell you otherwise, even if they tell you that purpose is an illusion. Live an illusion if you have to. You are that combination so that you can do what is essential for you to do. Don't ever believe that you have nothing to contribute. The world is an incredibly unfulfilled tapestry. And only you can fulfill that tiny space that is yours. Life is a great and wondrous mystery, and the only thing we know that we have for sure is what is right here right now. Don't miss it. Find the person who will love you because of your differences and not in spite of them, and you have found a lover for life. Love is like a mirror. When you love another, you become his mirror and he becomes yours. And reflecting each other's love, you see infinity. There comes a time in some relationships when no matter how sincere the attempt to reconcile the differences or how strong the wish to recreate a part of the past once shared, the struggle becomes so painful that nothing else is felt, and the world and all its beauty only add to the discomfort by providing cruel contrast. I don't know about you, but I don't feel that it's my vehicle that is essential. I don't know about you, but I don't feel that it's my education that is essential. I don't think what is essential about me is my house or my car or my clothes. What is essential about me? Well, I think what is essential is that I live and embrace life right now, wherever I am. I grab it in my arms. Don't spend time crying about yesterday. Yesterday is over with. I forgive my past. I forgive the people who've hurt me. I don't want to spend the rest of my life blaming and pointing a finger. We live in a small world. Not a leaf falls that doesn't affect a myriad of things. When we reach out to someone in love and the effect is made, everyone, everything which comes in contact with the person we've affected is better for it. Of course, the converse is true, too. Change is the end result of all true learning. Change involves three things. First, a dissatisfaction with self, a felt void or need. Second, a decision to change to fill the void or need. And third, a conscious dedication to the process of growth and change, the willful act of making the change, doing something. In life and in love, there is only that moment, the now. The only reality we know is what we experience this very second. Reality is not what has passed or what has yet to come into being. Grabbing hold of this simple idea makes life magical because it brings love alive. Hold on to your dreams, for they are, in a sense, the stuff of which reality is made. It is through our dreams that we maintain the possibility of a better, more meaningful life. Don't hold to anger, hurt or pain. They steal your energy and keep you from love. It is difficult for some people to accept that love is a choice. This seems to run counter to the generally accepted theory of romantic love, which expounds that love is inborn and as such requires no more than to accept it. Live now. When you are eating, eat. When you are loving, love. When you are talking with someone, talk. When you are looking at a flower, look. Catch the beauty of the moment. Don't ever believe that you are going to be peaceful. Life is not like that. When you are changing all the time, you've got to continue to keep adjusting to change, which means that you are going to be constantly facing new obstacles. That's the joy of living. And once you are involved in the process of becoming, there is no stopping. You're doomed. You're gone. But what a fantastic journey. Every day is new. Every flower is new. Every face is new. Everything in the world is new, every morning of your life. Stop seeing it as a drag. Love yourself, accept yourself, forgive yourself, and be good to yourself, because without you the rest of us are without a source of many wonderful things. Risks must be taken because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. When love is accompanied with deep intimacy, it raises us to the highest level of human experience. In this exalted space, we can surrender our egos, become vulnerable, and know levels of joy and well-being unique among life experiences. We attain a glimpse of the rapture that can be ours. Boundaries are blurred, there are no limitations, and we rejoice in union. We become one and, at the same time, both. A loving relationship is one in which the loved one is free to be himself, to laugh with me, but never at me, to cry with me, but never because of me, to love life, to love himself, to love being loved. Such a relationship is based upon freedom and can never grow in a jealous heart. Relish love in your old age. Aged love is like aged wine, it becomes more satisfying, more refreshing, more valuable, more appreciated, and more intoxicating. Don't spend your precious time asking why isn't the world a better place. It will only be time wasted. The question to ask is, how can I make it better? To that there is an answer. As soon as the love relationship does not lead me to me, as soon as I in a love relationship do not lead another person to himself, this love, even if it seems to be the most secure and ecstatic attachment I have ever experienced, is not true love. For real love is dedicated to continual becoming. I know for certain that we never lose the people we love, even to death. They continue to participate in every act, thought, and decision we make. Their love leaves an indelible imprint in our memories. We find comfort in knowing that our lives have been enriched by having shared their love.